Hi, in this video we will cover logical comparison questions. So let's start. What is it? Logical comparison refers to the idea that comparisons must be made between two things of the same type. So, if I say I prefer novels of Charles Dickens to Thomas Hardy, this is wrong because I'm comparing novels of Charles Dickens to Thomas Hardy, right? One is a thing and the other is a person. The correct version would be I prefer novels of Charles Dickens to novels of Thomas Hardy, or I prefer novels of Charles Dickens to those of Thomas Hardy. On the test. So, on your official SAT, you are likely to see 1 to 2 questions that require you to identify and correct illogical comparisons in the underlined portion of the sentences. You will need to address these errors by 1. Adding or eliminating a demonstrative pronoun. So, the wings of a bat, due to fingers that stretch through them, are more flexible than a bird. Right? So, here in this sentence, the wings are being compared with a bird, right? So we can correct it by doing so. The wings of a bird, due to the fingers that stretch through them, are more flexible than those of a bird, right? So explanation is quite simple. We can't logically compare wings to a bird. Instead, we could compare bat wings to bird wings, right? Using a demonstrative pronoun called such as those or that. Number two, creating parallel structures. So the incorrect version would be it's rarely better to run from your problems than confronting them. And the correct version is rarely better to run from your problems than to confront them. The first one is wrong because there we are comparing to run with confronting, right? Both are verbs, but one is a different type of word. Like one is an ing form of verb and the other is a first form of verb, right? So to compare them, we should make we should make sure that the structure throughout the sentence is the same, right? So the explanation is quite simple. We can't compare to run with confronting. These phrases should have parallel structures. You can learn more in the quick guide for parallel structure, which we have already gone through. Okay, so tips and strategies. Number one, top tip: check pronoun antecedent agreement. So when adding a demonstrative pronoun, make sure it agrees in number with the noun it refers to. Usually that noun in the first part of the comparison. It's quite simple. Number two, focus on what you can change. So illogical comparisons often show up in questions that ask you to revise the underlined portion of a sentence. We can only change what's underlined. So match what you can change to what you can't. Having one's breakfast in bed is messier to eat it at the table, right? So here again, we are comparing two things: having breakfast in bed and eating it on the table, right? So at one end where there is no underlining, we have having, right? And then we have an underlined portion which there is written to eat, right? So we can change to eat, we can't change having. So we will change to eat into eating to make sure that the structure is the same and so they can be compared. Right, so let's do a practice question. Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain on Mars, is over 2.5 times taller than that of Mount Everest. So here we are comparing Olympus Mons, a mountain, with something of Mount Everest, which is also a mountain, right? Which doesn't make sense. You should compare a mountain with a mountain or something of a mountain to something of a mountain, right? So the correct version here would be correct option, I'm afraid, would be option number D, delete the underlined portion. So when we delete the underlined portion, then we are comparing a mountain with a mountain. So let's read again. Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain on Mars, is over 2.5 times taller than Mount Everest. Now it's correct. So that's how you handle logical comparison questions. In the next video, we will cover another grammar topic.